Here are the steps you need to follow right now. Step number 1, you want to check your credit scores. Remember, I said credit scores. In other words, you have to analyze not only your personal credit score, but also your business credit score. And you have to do this analysis simultaneously, because if you're trying to get an LLC business credit card with no revenue, the emphasis is on no revenue. That means that the lender, or the card issuer for that matter, will start paying attention to other areas where you can show financial stability. Because on the LLC side, you're on shaky grounds, right? Financially speaking. So the lender will pay attention to your personal credit score. Let's start with your business credit score. So you want to check your business credit score. And we're talking about your Dun & Bradstreet Paydesk score. Your FICO Small Business Score. FICO Small Business Score is one of those scores that a lot of folks don't talk about, but this is a quintessential element when it comes to getting an LLC business credit card with no revenue. And you have to also think about your Experian Intellis score, and also your Equifax score, business score. And so you have a constellation of business credit scores that you need to check. And you got to check those. You cannot be lazy. Don't try to be like, I'm not checking whatever. I'll just, no. If you want to do things properly, there is no room for randomness here. We are speaking about logic. We are applying logic. We're applying a formula. So you check your business credit scores, and you see, and you have to pay for them though. I mean, they do not allow you to check them for free. So it is an investment. Think about the fact that the reward at the end of the day is you getting an LLC business credit card with no revenue. So that's for the business credit score. For the personal credit score, the analysis is similar. In other words, but for the personal credit score, you have the chance to actually check it for free. So annualcreditreport.com, or your current credit card company, or your current bank. A lot of credit card issuers, they will allow you to have a glimpse of your score every month. They will put it on your bank, on your account statement. So this is kind of cool, okay? So the bottom line is, when you check your credit scores, either personal or business, you always want to make sure that you check for two things. Does the credit score reflect my current financial situation? And number 2, are there any errors that I should dispute? Those are the two things you need to pay attention to. Step number 2, you want to itemize your last 3 months of purchases. By the way, welcome back to the show. Really appreciate having you here. Make yourself comfortable. Mi casa, tu casa. Okay, we are in the family here. And so if you are trying to get an LLC business credit card, no revenue, you want to itemize your last 3 months of purchases. Why? Because you are telling the credit card issuer indirectly that you have done your homework. In other words, you know exactly what you need the credit card for, you need the business credit card for, and you know exactly what kind of rewards you are pursuing. You know whether you are pursuing cashback, travel rewards, or other rewards. So this is really important. So being able to categorize and total your spend can help you determine how you spend, and rewards might look different depending on the credit card. So if you can present to the credit card issuer that you have done an analysis of the kind of let's say how much you intend to spend every month on the card, this might incentivize the credit card issuer to not only approve you, but give you approve you at a higher limit. So you want to actually outline and total your business expenses in the following categories: travel, gas, restaurants, and office supplies. And this will come in handy later on when you need to compare the rewards and point systems of different business credit cards. In addition to that, doing this analysis will help the lender determine that you have thought about the expenses that you actually are planning on making with the card. But also, you have thought about the liquidity needed to repay those balances. In other words, you have thought about your cash outflows to actually pay them. Simply because you have no revenue doesn't mean you have no cash flow. Remember, no revenue is not synonymous with cash flows. You have a lot of companies that they have a huge revenue, but their cash flows really sucks. You know why? Because customers are not paying. They have a lot of uncollectible accounts on the books. Okay, so when you do this analysis, you have to actually show the credit card issuer that, hey, listen, I may not have a revenue right now, but I do derive cash flows from other sources. For example, from my personal accounts. In other words, at the business level, you don't have cash, but at the personal level, you do have some cash that you intend to use to actually pay back whatever you charge on the LLC business credit card. Step number 3, boss. You have to find a card that meets your LLC and your LLC's needs. Remember, we are talking about what? Just want to remind you of today's topic. We are talking about how to get an LLC business credit card with no revenue. So the thing here is that when we talk about credit cards, business credit cards that cater to LLCs with no revenue, you have a constellation of those cards. Okay, you have cards that actually, I just talked about earlier, cards that rewards you for travel, cards that rewards you for gas, for gas purchases, for restaurants expenses, for office supplies. Okay, and the thing here is that you have to consider the different benefits of an LLC business credit card with no revenue. Keep in mind, a lot of credit card issuers want to have revenue. So in today's conversation, we're talking about ways to bypass that requirement. So you are presenting to the credit card issuer a win-win situation. So not only you are coming out strong, a winner, but you are also making the credit card issuer look like a winner. In other words, you have alleviated all the fears, okay? Because the main fears for the credit card issuer is default, right? Because you charge stuff on the card and you can't repay that charge. So you want to really pay attention to a few things. Look for cards that are offering, for example, introductory 0% APR. There are some cards that want to there are some card issuers who want to look at your business size. So it doesn't really matter whether you are generating revenue. They want to see whether you have been in business for a while, for example. Because an LLC business of 10 or fewer people might look for a small business card that cuts into intro APR or useful tools like analytics when you are running a Spartan crew. So it's really about your needs, okay? Think about other things. What are you looking for? Travel points? Are you looking for a welcome bonus? Are you looking for multiple cards or accounts for your employees? Are you looking for a card that reports to business credit bureaus? Okay, because as I said before, you want to have a card that actually helps you also build credit or improve your credit score. So you want to make sure that they reports to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, Equifax, and SBFE if applicable. So this is the kind of conversation you need to think about. Find an LLC business credit card with no revenue that meets your company's needs. Step number 4, you need to predict and plan usage. And this is where a lot of small businesses, especially the LLCs, they have no revenue when they apply for a business credit card. This is where they fail. This is where they really trip. The reason is that you have to engage in forecasting. You have to do some analytics here. And a lot of those small businesses, either they don't have the expertise in-house or they just are too lazy to engage in that. The big question is, how exactly do you plan to use your LLC business credit card? This is this is the main question. Maybe you'll use it exclusively for travel, booking flights, paying for hotels, or getting taxis, or what have you. Okay, and some LLCs get a corporate credit card to finance a large purchase, like a new copy machine or office furniture. And so it's really important to really actually look at let's say you look at your last 3 months of expenses and find a way to predict and plan usage. And by doing that, you are basically communicating to the credit card issuer that, hey, listen, I have done my homework. I know exactly how I'm going to spend the limit you will give me, but most importantly, I know how I'm going to pay it back, and this is how everything ties up. So, big decision time, boss. Let me ask you a question. Big decision time. Are you looking for an LLC business credit card with no revenue? If the answer is yes, have you actually itemized your last 3 months of purchases? That's number 2. Number 3, have you predicted and planned the usage of the card? In other words, and again, this is nothing complicated though. I'm only asking you to have an Excel spreadsheet, for example. You have in Excel, you have a column that talks about the amount that you want to charge on the card, another column that talks about the category of the expense, and all those things should tie into your income statement. Because the bottom line here, remember, a credit card issuer makes money when you use the card. So they want to see that you have actually you have a way to use the card considerably, so they can actually make money not only in terms of APRs but also in terms of the credit card transaction fees. Okay, this is really important. Step number 5. This is a very important one. Just want to quickly remind everybody of today's conversation. We are talking about LLC business credit card, no revenue. How do you get that? And you need to do some math on annual fees. The reason is that when we talk about LLC business credit card, no revenue, a lot of credit card holders, they just are interested in the credit limits. Okay. You know, you want to have a 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 and what have you. Okay. But if you have a consequential annual fee, like the Amex that charges you $5.95, for instance, or the Chase, the Inc. that charges you a similar amount. I don't have the exact number in mind, but if you have a card that charges you that much, you have to have a strategy in place so that you are able to actually derive enough revenue from this business card so that you can offset the annual fee. Because when a card has sorry about that. When an LLC business credit card has a consequential annual fee, the goal is that that card is providing a constellation of benefits, and those benefits in return should actually help you offset that fee. Okay, so just be sure about that. So it's very simple when it comes to the math that will help you calculate how much you will get back with rewards and perks, and if the annual fee is really worth it. So you want to use your last 3 months, again, going back to 3 months, use your last 3 months of expenses or your projected usage to determine what your rewards will look like with any particular card that you're contemplating for your LLC that has no revenue. Okay, so credit cards. Boss, do you have in mind right now a specific credit card that will allow you to get an LLC business card with no revenue? Have you done your homework? We have actually published a bunch of videos about the topic, but if you are interested, just drop us in the comment section below whatever questions you have, and we'll certainly get back to you. We'll actually we'll provide more cards that actually fit your specific situation, and this is really, really important. And one thing I want to say also is that as you do the math on the annual fees, also look for the other fees, not just the annual fees, the foreign transaction fees, right? You have all the other fees that those business credit cards for LLCs sometimes charge. Step number 6, you want to take note of the rewards program. Okay, again, we're talking about LLC business credit card with no revenue, and the goal here is to have ways for you to apply, to actually to apply in a wonderful way, to actually get the loan, to get the credit card, okay, and be approved real fast, and even though you have no revenue. Okay, so the reason why you want to take note of the rewards program is because that the business credit card market has grown highly competitive, which means that the range of benefits offered by various credit card networks and issuing institutions are growing. And you know what? This is great for your LLC. It doesn't matter if your LLC is generating revenue right now or not. Okay. Of course, most LLC business credit cards offer cashback or rewards points on eligible net purchases, but more specific offerings are available in the form of membership rewards and free services. Okay. So the thing is, you want to sit down, take a piece of paper and actually comb through the specific rewards program of each LLC business credit card. And so let me just give you an example, because I think that sometimes when I explain things, people say, well, you talk in theory. Let me just break it down for you. A rewards program might include things like bonus points on an eligible purchase, cash rewards, extended warranties, canceled flight insurance, free or discounted car rentals, cell phone replacement of lost luggage, airport premium lounge access, concierge services, credit score monitoring, access to VIP areas at events or museums. Okay, you also have membership rewards, such as when it comes to streaming services or premium level accounts. So this is the kind of stuff you can have in a typical rewards program. And issuing institutions might offer their own branded rewards points and benefits, or sometimes a gift card. So you might see if the banks, credit unions, or other institutions you patronize offer specific benefits for adding a business credit card to your existing account. So this is the kind of formula you need to apply to actually have you want to be able to win. You want to be able to be approved real fast. So the thing here is that when you actually do all those things, when you check your credit score, you itemize your last 3 months of purchases. You found a card, an LLC business credit card that meets your company's needs. You predicted and planned the usage, did the math on the annual fees. You took notes of the rewards program. It's really important to actually put all of this together and find a way to apply properly for an LLC business credit card with no revenue. Okay, there are a couple of things you want to really have in the application package. You need to have your legal business name. So we're talking about the name of your LLC as it is in the on the corporate charter or on the articles of incorporation. But if you have an LLC, it's the articles of organization, not incorporation. Incorporation is for corporation, C corporation, and S corporation. So you want to look at your bylaws, your certificate of good standing. Some business credit card issuers might request that because they want to make sure you are legit. So they'll ask you for business licenses and permits. Okay, they'll ask you for a certificate of good standing. They'll ask you for a registered agent number. Like they'll ask you who your registered agent is, their address, and all that kind of stuff. The card issuer will ask you for your business address, your business phone number, your employee identification number, your employer identification number, okay, your EIN, your annual business revenue, the age of your LLC, your personal income. When I talk about annual business revenue, you don't have revenue, okay? But you can actually project your revenue. In other words, you can forecast your revenue. This is totally possible. Just make sure the assumption that you use, the assumed numbers are realistic. Your assumptions are realistic. We don't want to have like anything so crazily different from reality. Don't try that. Okay. And the credit card issuer might also ask you for your monthly business expenses, your personal income, your social security number or taxpayer identification number, your date of birth. And so those are things you really want to have ready. And in some cases, they might ask you to provide statements of dispute if there are issues on your credit report. Okay, so those are really important. So to actually close today's conversation, if you have made it so far, I want to give you a bonus here. And the bonus is that there are some important questions you need to think about when you want to compare and contrast, for example, a personal credit card and an LLC business credit card. Okay, so an LLC business credit card usually features a higher limits and a higher credit limits and more lucrative rewards than a personal credit card. In some cases, some credit card issuers will allow you to use a personal credit card as a business credit card if you are a single member LLC. So this and vice versa. In other words, you can use, but you don't want that anyway. You can use a single member LLC, a business credit card for your personal affairs, but you don't want that. You never want to do that. Why? Because you want to keep at all times your business's affairs from your personal affairs at all times. Okay, and so this is really important, and because when we talk about personal credit cards, for example, they are much more heavily regulated with more flexibility and buyer protection. But business credit cards don't have that, but they have a higher credit limit. So you have to choose which one is actually great for you. Okay, so and you also have to think about what kind of network you are interested in. Are you looking for Visa or MasterCard? Okay, so Visa and MasterCard both issue cards through branded relationships with financial institutions and retailers. There are differences in the way they process payments though, but most of those differences that will affect consumers come from the card issuers' offerings, such as cashback, rewards structures, and interest rates. Okay, and so when should you actually go get a business credit card for your LLC? Well, if you are trying to separate business and personal credit, in other words, you are trying to protect both, go for this kind of card. If you are trying to build business credit with responsible use, go for that card. And if you're trying to raise capital, because if you don't have no revenue, you're trying to raise capital for your LLC business, then go for this kind of card. Okay, and if you want to reap business specific rewards, you also want to go for this kind of card. Okay, so overall, it's a pretty quick decision because a business credit card is always better, but you have to look at your specific situation. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was just talking to you today about how to get an LLC business credit card with no revenue. Number one, you want to check your credit scores. Number two, you want to itemize your last 3 months of purchases. Number three, you want to find a card that meets your company's needs. Number four, you want to predict and plan usage. Number five, you want to do the math on annual fees. Number six, you want to take note of the rewards program. So I just gave you a few pro tips also, and give you a last bonus. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.